Welcome to my first podcast. I stole Tweak's idea. Yeah, so I guess just to start off, you guys can introduce yourself. Start with Rom and then we go to Scat.
Sure, yeah. My name's Ramen. My tag is Mr. R. I'm a competitive Smash player since 2008. I started off with Brawl. I used to play Melee casually, like as a kid, like everybody else did. But then I started playing competitively for Brawl around 2008. And yeah, I've just been traveling a lot since then, going to the US a lot, going to Japan a lot, traveling within European countries, just been competing a lot. I was the best player in Brawl in Europe. And in Smash 4, I was top 10 in the world. And in Ultimate, I'm ranked top 50 right now on the PGR and top 25 on Orion rank. So yeah, that's me.
Very cool.
Oh, also, who do I play? I main Chrom, and I secondary Sheik, Snake, Young Link, and Pitzer. Here you go.
Wait, I couldn't. I think
The last
when you're
one's
like,
Pither, right?
Oh, Pitzer, I said the last one.
I think when you're like counting like that, like it was like making a sound on the mic.
Oh,
I
okay.
think like if you were tapping your desk, I think that your mic picked that up.
That's
Like,
what it does, yeah. You guys heard that? Wow.
Yeah, we can actually hear that.
Okay, I was gonna say, or I was saying, I main Chrom, but I also secondary Sheik, Snake, Young Link, and Pitzer.
All right, cool. So if y'all don't know who I am, I'm MVG Scats. I have been a longtime player of Smash since not quite as long as Ramen, maybe about like 2009, late 2009, early 2010ish with Brawl. But I played that competitively. I played Melee completely casually. Also played 6-4 casually. And I didn't really get like, I guess, known nationally until Smash 4 when I, made Mega Man and did all that I did with that. I've been PGR ranked for a while now. I was PGR ranked twice for Smash 4. And then I've been ranked 40, 41 for pretty much all of Ultimate. And I main Snake and Mega Man as well. So fairly competent with those characters. But as I've just said, I am looking into playing Sephiroth because that character is absolutely insane. And he's super cool. So like, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so I think since we ended on that, I want to get into one of the topics, which is which characters do you think are going to become more dominant once offline becomes more of a thing? Yeah, we'll do the same thing. So, Ramen, you go first, and then Scott, you go after, and I'll be last.
I think Sephiroth is pretty nerfed on Wi-Fi. I think he's better offline, just because of the way he plays. Like, I think spacing is really important with him. So I feel like he's better offline. So I'm curious to see how he's gonna do offline. It's also the thing is, like, even though a lot of these characters can potentially be better offline, it's not gonna matter if top players don't play them. And a good example is like Min Min. I think Min Min's really good, but like besides Japan, like no actual like top players, as far as I know, besides maybe the Buzz in the US, like play Min Min, right? So that's gonna factor in whether she's gonna get more results or not. So I can't confidently say who's gonna do better. I can say though who I think is gonna do worse, which is probably like Steve. I think Steve's really good on Wi-Fi.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's still gonna
be.
be. I think he's still gonna be fine offline. But I just think minecart is so good on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like that move is just busted on Wi-Fi. Yeah, and I think Rob isn't gonna do as good either, but he's still gonna do fine. You know what I mean? Like just like Steve, they're still gonna do fine. But yeah, it's hard for me to say who's gonna do better offline. To be honest, I'd have to think about it for like a few minutes.
All right, so obviously, there's the offline online factor that comes into play. I'm trying to also factor in the patches that have happened since Wi-Fi has been a thing or been the primary way for competition to happen. And we've gotten 3, 4 maybe.
I think it's been 3.
Yeah, so that's
3 or 4, yeah.
Oh no,
lot
yeah, 4,
changes.
4.
Yeah, that's a lot of changes for a lot of the characters that go through. My first impression, to be honest, just like speaking locally, regionally, and then nationally, at the top level, I expect Min Min to be seen, but I also expect Min Min to generally just be seen like everywhere, because that character is very, very impressive in my mind. And like out of the DLC, I still think she's the best one released so far. But I do have high hopes for Sephiroth too, because again, as you said, like a lot of his tools are just generally better offline because he's heavily dependent on spacing. And I feel like with the one wing and the amount of range he has, he's kind of oppressive on some of the casts. But he's also less polarizing than Min Min, which I think Min Min may be the new gatekeeper character. In the sense that, like, if I had to compare it, I almost want to compare it to like Brawl DDD in a way, or Smash 4 Cloud. That's the debatable one. That's heavily debatable. Not in playstyle or anything like that, but in terms of a character that just says, "Hey, if you're not above this skill level, you are getting shut down." So it's completely going to be just that. All right, if you're playing this matchup, you just don't play the game. And I think that despite Min Min not being like a super common character in America, I think people are going to see that. And I think at some level, for some time in the future, when people realize, oh, Min Min's actually better offline, which is terrifying, we're going to see a lot more of that character spring up. So that's my pick for like what's going to be like meta defining. But I do also want to talk about the other characters too that have gotten touched by the patch, and also the other characters that may or may not be seeing more play because of it. So like Palu is another one. I was just like, this is probably going to still be a good character, but I'm not sure where or how often this character will be seen because of the new characters and because of her, recent changes as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel like even though some characters got nerfs, the fact that there's been so much DLC and so many like changes in terms of buffs and nerfs, like, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen when offline comes back. You know what I mean? Like Palu could still top 8, or maybe Pitra mains will now like top 8, or Steve mains will top 8 more often. It's just really hard to predict.
Yeah, I forgot about Pythor, honestly, but that character's gonna be a problem.
That character's crazy, yeah.
Wait, what did you call her? Pythra? I call her Pithra. Am I pronouncing it wrong?
I don't know. I don't think it matters as much.
It's not canon. We'll roll with it.
I call her Pam.
Pam?
Wait, what?
Why?
That makes no sense.
And Mithra.
Pam.
Okay, I guess.
All right.
What?
All right, I guess.
That makes sense.
That's the first time I've heard anybody call them that.
I've never heard that.
All right, well. So, I guess for me, I actually think that there's going to be a good amount of like character shifts that we're going to see for results. I do agree with Scat. I do think we're going to see more Min-Mins get results. I don't think we're going to see as many top level Min-Mins like Mr. R was saying, but I think we're going to get a good amount of Min-Min players that are just going to upset players because that character is better offline. And I think Min-Min is one of the characters where you have to actually know how to fight her. If you don't, you auto lose. Like, that character is just insane. It's like, oh, you didn't know about this? Well, you just lost a stock now. So I think
buzz for the best.
She
starts in advantage state. You don't start in neutral, you start in advantage.
Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna see like a lot of Min-Min players winning tournaments, but I think we'll see a lot of them like placing decently high because of what the character is. The other character I think is gonna get more results is Diddy Kong. Not just because well, for one, we have Tweak playing the character, and Tweak being Tweak, he's obviously going to do really well with the character.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think that before quarantine happened, we had players like Aaron and Dakpo like kind of popping off, and I kind of think that quarantine kind of shut down like the results that they were going to get. But I think it's going to continue on once offline events come back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think Diddy's just underrated in general.
Absolutely, yeah. I think
for sure.
Diddy's an interesting character because Tweak, well, I talked to Tweak about it before. He thinks that Diddy does well against really good characters, but then he has an issue against zoners, which I think is kind of interesting. I feel like Diddy is probably going to cause a good amount of upsets for that reason. Where like a lot of people who play top tiers are just going to get wrecked by Diddy Kong.
Yeah, like I distinctly remember this because this player's from our region, but like CEO Dreamland, the very last major before everything pretty much got shut down, there was the upset that player one pulled off on Mars.
Yeah.
You know, a top 5
Oh, really?
PGR player.
Mhm.
Yeah, and player one ended up beating him with Diddy in
Yeah.
Diddy Zero Suit. It was a solid dub. I was just like, wow, I did not expect that from anybody in my region, let alone, you know, player one. Like, that's not no disrespect on player one. He's a phenomenal player. He's been playing since Brawl 2. But, you know, Mars is kind of, he's at that upper echelon that you you know,
Yeah.
you expect to see him at.
Yeah, I mean, he also, like, he during that time, he had recently won Genesis, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
also.
it's like
So he
the player-
definitely
that
was a option.
That was pre-patch Diddy too, right? Didn't they
Yeah.
buff Diddy afterwards?
Well,
I-
they changed them because they removed the infinite, but then they gave him like
Yeah.
like a couple more tools to work with it.
Right, yeah. So we don't really know if that's a buff or a nerf yet. Or I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's
Yeah,
a,
I'm pretty sure they took out the nerf.
it's a buff.
Or,
to the
well, not
players.
nerf. I'm pretty sure they took out the-
Yeah, it's a buff to the players who didn't do the infinite to begin with.
That's fair.
Yeah.
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 Another character. So there's that. I actually think I think there's a lot of characters who are gonna like shift around, but I think Falco is going to do better.
You think about
Really?
Yeah.
You
Okay,
of all
I'll
people.
miss it.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
no
think
bias,
Falco-
no bias.
no
at all.
bias, no bias. No, but
That's
like
surprising.
I think, you know, like I'm like investing more into Falco. There's also like a lot of really good Falco players. There's Tilde, who, if you've never heard of Tilde, he's really, really good.
Where's he from?
He's from New York.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also Juice, and then there's that one Japanese Falco player. His name is Masa. He actually top 8'd a major in Japan. I think it was the Kagaribi, the first one. He top 8'd that one.
Wait, wasn't Masa a Brawl player?
You're thinking of Masha.
Yeah. Is it not the same guy?
It's not the same guy, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bunch of good Falcos around the world. Even in Europe, there's like I think 1 or 2 good Falcos.
Jackster is like one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Oh, you know more than I do apparently about Europe.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
But-
know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's just a bunch of good Falcos. So I can see that. I can definitely see that being
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah, especially after the patches. Like that's the one thing that I feel like they did a really good job about fixing Falco, because most people will say like Falco's weakest point in general is just his neutral, and you know he has approaching issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they gave him that buff to the side B. They made that so much less laggy. So I'm like, oh, it's actually to the point where this is actually a legitimate burst option in some instances. So you can't just always hold a certain range against Falco and expect to just play that range the entire time.
Yeah.
And I think once that pretty much got touched for him, I was like, okay, this character has a shot.
Yeah. You want to know the crazy thing about his side B? It's
What about it?
it's like considerably the fastest side B's ever been in any Smash game. His side
Is
B,
that fast?
his side
What do you
B,
mean?
his side B, like frame data wise, the side B is faster than Smash 4 Fox's side B.
Really?
Yes.
So you're telling me he's Sakurai combos better in this, like Falco's Sakurai combos better than Fox did in Smash 4.
He can, yeah. Except that, well, there's two differences. The first one is that in Smash 4, or I guess even now, Falco side B doesn't have the iframes that Fox has had, or like the thing where he's not like there throughout the first half of it.
Right.
He's completely
Yeah.
there throughout the entirety of the side B. So you can like
Okay, so
you can always hit him out of it, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that he can't go through shields. That was like another big advantage that Fox had in 4.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember playing against you, and you just side being from the edge every single time. And if I shielded,
Okay.
you just got back in neutral. And if I didn't shield it, you'd get a kill.
Yeah.
No, I
I
remember.
remember getting uploaded. I didn't even get that far. I just got uploaded on the ledge until I died, and I was just like, well.
Hey, that was a great
Oh,
game.
Wait, this goes a bit
Yeah,
off topic,
okay.
but what do you think about Fox, Larry?
I think he's
Yeah,
still really
please.
good, honestly. Yeah, I still think Wolf is better, but I totally think that Fox is a really good character. I think he's, depending on what your definition of a top tier is, or like where your line stops, He's hot. He's either like top tier or high tier.
Okay. I don't know why. I think based off of your YouTube videos, I thought, or your titles, your YouTube titles, I thought you.
Best clickbait.
And also, you mentioning you're playing more Falco now. I thought you just thought Fox was worse now, but no, I agree with that. So you'd probably put him in like top 20, top 25.
I don't have a number range, but like probably I like don't really like list the tier list in numbers, but I definitely think he's around that range, like where he's a really good character. You can solo main him and win big events.
Better question too.
Okay.
I got one. So, how do you feel the Spacies do against the current DLC? Because those are the matchups I'm expecting to see going forward. How do you feel each of the Spacies do against like the newer DLC? So Steve, Pyramithra, Sephiroth as well.
I think Wolf overall does the best out of all of them against the DLC.
Yeah, cool.
I think Sephiroth probably gives like all the Spacies the most trouble, like overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like
what about Fox though? Fox or Sephiroth? I can see that being annoying for Sephiroth.
I can see it being annoying and neutral, but then once you get Fox off stage, I think Sephiroth's just gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a counter, so yeah, I can see that.
I mean, Steve, I don't know, but I feel like Steve's probably going to be like the easiest for like all the Spacies to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's fair. I feel like, I guess in terms of Sephiroth, when it comes to the Spacies, like, or actually not even just Sephiroth, but in general, I feel like Fox is so fast that it doesn't really matter unless you're like literally his speed, like Mithra. But for the rest of the DLC, I don't think any of them really have the speed to keep up with them in terms of just like dealing with his neutral in general. So I feel like he's almost always going to be one of those characters that, regardless of the character, unless you are playing at his pacing already, you're going to have some trouble with him.
Yeah, that I could agree with. I mean, his neutral is really, really good because of his speed. He's had so many mix-ups just because of his mobility.
Yeah, but having a counter against Fox is actually pretty huge, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he also has like, I don't know, reverse up B, fall off fair. I'm talking about Sephiroth specifically.
Yeah. Oh, Sephiroth, yeah.
Yeah, and you can even down air if Fox is like up B towards the edge. And if you time your down air right, pretty sure he'll just die.
There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it won't even 2-frame. Pretty sure it'll just like straight up hit him out of his up B.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, no, I can definitely see the matchup being very momentum heavy. Like I feel like in neutral, Fox probably wins, but then once he's off stage, then yeah, Sephiroth should be able to kill him.
Also Wing too, which I'd imagine that gives him enough speed to actually keep up with Fox and neutral, and that's why I'm like, okay, this is when the game is actually like starting.
Yeah, dude, One Winged Angels is ridiculous. The fact
the
fact that he could get like guaranteed kills off a back throw if you back throw someone at the ledge is ridiculous.
This is the weirdest thing about it too, and like at first I wasn't sure if it was a Wi-Fi thing, but the more time that I see just watching this character and playing it myself, so just watching Tweak, Nairo, and Ned, because I think those are primarily the biggest Sephiroths out right now, the more I think that like his grab confirms are just, at first I thought like, okay, this is a DI mix-up, you should be able to react to it, but then I realized every single one of his throws just complements his other throws so well that if you try to DI for one throw, chances are you're not gonna have enough time to react to another throw. And so let's just, for example, take back throw, right? Back throw back here kills most of the cast at like 40 or 50 if you DI in. You think, okay, we'll just DI away and back throw, but this is the problem. Sephiroth can abuse the fact that if you are DIing back on back throw, you have to deal with unreactable up throw, or he down throws, or any one of those. And then now you're in a down throw 50-50 where he can just down throw back air you anyway. Or he could just up throw you and then you're taking combo damage for free, or he can forward throw you, which is the other one that sets up for tech chase. And like every single one of his throws in some way, shape, or form is a DI mix up for another one of his throws. So like it's really hard not to get put in either a tech chase or put in a situation where he's just gonna straight up true combo you into a potential kill.
Yeah. So
that's what's super scary about his grab game, in my opinion.
Just to add to the back throw too, there's literally some percents where it doesn't matter if you DI away, it still guarantees the back. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really? Sweet spot back airs as well?
Yeah. That's like, especially with One Winged Angel, because of his mobility, it's just like he can just jump back, and because he's faster, he'll be able to get there and get the hit.
He gets more air drift, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know it was guaranteed regardless of DI. I thought it was only a DI mix-up. So that's kind of crazy. Honestly.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's only with One Winged Angel that's the case, but I do know like I've seen it with One Winged I can't say it. One Winged Angel, where I've seen someone like clearly DI away and it's still combos.
It's still guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's insane. I will say though, the DI mix-ups, I think it'll be easier offline to react to his grab animation. I feel like on Wi-Fi, it's truly a mix-up because you can't react to his throw animations.
Mm-hmm.
But offline, it might be easier. I don't know actually. I don't know if it's reactable yet because I haven't played against Sephiroth offline.
It is.
It is okay. Yeah. But if you're not ready for that, then you can. Especially if people don't pummel, they just grab you and throw right away. It's gonna be hard to react regardless.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I don't know how I feel about Sephiroth. I think he's really good, and I think he'll do better offline than he does online. But at the same time, I feel like the combination of his size and his weight, I don't know. He might not be like super top tier because of that. He might be in a similar spot to where Fox is, like around that area.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of people say he's like top 10 or top 5, and I can see it, but I'm not entirely convinced yet. Not until like offline comes back, at least. Just because I feel like in theory, he's like a better Mewtwo. You know what I mean? Like he's not as big as Mewtwo, obviously, and he doesn't have the tail hurt box, but he's still pretty tall and he's still pretty light, so he gets comboed easily. For example, like the Sheik versus Sephiroth matchup, I love that matchup because I'm pretty oppressive against Sephiroth and Sheik. I can just go up close, combo him really well because of his height, and then he actually dies pretty early compared to like a lot of other characters I fight against with Sheik. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I'm still a bit skeptical on how good I think Sephiroth is. I think he's a really good character, but I don't know if he's like top 10 just yet.
Yeah. There's definitely a certain set of matches where I could just see him absolutely getting overran. You mentioned Sheik too, and that's the one thing we haven't even talked about. Sephiroth's frame data out of shield is kind of his frame data in general is not the greatest, but like his out of shield frame data in particular is like, it's not good at all. So there are definitely characters that can get in his face and kind of just overrun him, and if he's forced to block, he's just kind of has to hold that or reposition. Granted, I do think that even if he's forced to block or if he's put into a bad spot disadvantage, he does have like extremely good tools in disadvantage, and particularly the ledge, which I think is like super huge for him because he has I can't even count how many mix-ups this character has off the ledge. And I think he's going to be one of the hardest characters. Yeah, it's too many to even think about. But I think he's going to be one of the hardest characters, to ledge trap in general. But yeah, as far as his matchup spread goes, that's the other thing I was trying to like think about and keep in consideration. And I think he has a fair amount of matchups in top tier where he probably does win. The one in particular, just from me just watching this matchup and just playing it all myself. So looking at Tweak and again Nairo playing against other Pyro and Mythra players, I feel like that's going to be a boon to him, which I do want to talk about Pyro and Mythra too as well, because that character is absolutely bonkers and we haven't really touched that much. But that's one of the matchups where I see him just doing fairly well. And Peach is another character we haven't mentioned as well. But I'm not quite sure if we're going to see as much Peach given the DLC that's coming out, because I feel like the DLC kind of prevents her from playing the game that she wants to, that she could against a lot of the other old top tiers.
Yeah. Funny thing about Sephiroth, I think he does really well versus Swordies. What you mentioned about Pyra and Mythra. It's just like a combination of them being a Swordie, and then on top of that, the recovery is exploitable, so he's just kills it. Yeah.
It's a bad time.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Mythra is pretty decent against Sephiroth though. At least from my experience when I've played against Sephiroth, I don't know. I feel like it's doable, but I definitely think he beats all the other sword characters, like Roy, Chrom. I actually think I haven't played that matchup with Chrom yet because I go Sheik in that matchup, but I'm in like a Chrom group chat on Twitter with like all the top level Chroms, and they all think it's like a bad matchup, or like an even matchup at best. So I can definitely see it being bad And then I also think Sephiroth does good against like literally all the other sword characters.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Link
yeah.
and Young Link possibly as well. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how he's going to do offline because Wi-Fi Sephiroth is just it's really hard to go off of just Wi-Fi Sephiroth.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
I am.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say let's go on to another topic. This one's gonna be, I think, this was my favorite one that I came up with. So between Spargo, Gluttony, Tweak, Zachary, and then if you have someone else in mind, you can let me know. Who do you think has the best chance of overthrowing MKLeo for his #1 spot once offline comes back? And Rami, you can go first.
Shit, man. That's
right.
I think Tweak, Spargo, and Zachary have a good case for them going on. I think Guto's really good, but like the Wario nerfs recently, I feel like that might hold him back a little bit for now, at least. Because I think Wario got hit the hardest than compared to like all the other characters. I think Gluto's an amazing player. I'm just not sure about Wario right now because I haven't seen enough of Wario. And I know Wario got hit really hard. So I'd probably give it to either Spargo or Tweak. It's weird because every time I watch Tweak on his stream, he makes me feel like he's the best player in the world. Like, I'm just like, damn, how are you not the best player in the world? You're insane. Like, how are you not the best player in the world? So, but then Spargo also gets like really good results in the last few months or year, I should say. So like, and then but there's also Zachary who gets like the most consistent results in Japan. I don't know. It's a toss up between those three. I'd say I'd be just guessing if I picked one, honestly.
Yeah,
but I'll give it to Tweak.
Out of those 4, yeah, that's super hard. In my mind, and again, I feel like I'm biased because I've been watching Tweak the most out of those 4 players. I still would give it to Tweak because I'm trying to take into account the characters that they play as well. And like you mentioned Gluttony and Wario not exactly having the best time after the patch. So I'm just wondering, like, what matchups could this player run into potentially after the patch that would give the rest of his players trouble? One other person in particular that I kind of wanted to throw out there, I'm not 100% sure if they're quite at that level, but like when I watched their gameplay, I was like, wow, this is actually mad impressive. And I'm not sure there's really anyone else that can top this level of gameplay with this character, and that's actually Proto Banham. Watching his mid offline, oh my goodness. It just looked not okay. And I'm like, man, I don't know what any character really does if Min gets going. But Min in particular, I think has a pretty good matchup spread against the majority of the cast, obviously. But if I had to like sit down and say, hey, you're versus MKLeo right now, you have to deal with Joker. I would probably still give it to Tweak. His Diddy is on another level. I'll just say that. His Diddy is just on a level of it. Sephiroth is too, but his Diddy is terrifying in a lot of situations. I'm like, man, conversions.
Yeah. I think each player has like a good case for them going on. The only reason I'm not entirely sure about Gluto yet is literally just because of the Wario nerfs. Like if it wasn't for that, then like I would think Gluto can do it as well. But like yeah, it's hard like for me to know exactly how he's gonna do now with like the nerfs and stuff. And it's so hard because they're all so good. Like Spargo, Spargo's been so consistent recently. He's been so consistent, and I know it's Wi-Fi, but it still says a lot if you win every single tournament for like I don't know a few months straight. It's just a hard question.
Something to add about Gluttony. It seems like he's been playing more Wolf too. He has a Wolf secondary. His Wolf looks really good.
I saw, yeah. I think he also picked up Joker. So.
Oh, did he?
I don't know if he's.
Really?
I don't know if he's gonna keep playing Wario. Actually, he probably will for a lot of matchups, but I don't know if he's gonna be like a solo Wario main. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So I think this is really interesting because the way I see it is I think Tweak has the best chance of actually beating Leo in like a head-to-head, because I just feel like his Diddy is just, it's really good. But I feel like I honestly think Zachary might have the best chance of overthrowing Leo, just because I feel like because Japan has been able to play offline so consistently, and Japan being the country it is, he is probably very aware of all the BS that can happen. So I think he would be less likely to get upset by someone.
So you think like in outside of the head-to-head, you think Zachary overall would be?
I think overall he has the best chance of that, but I think Tweak has the best chance of actually beating Leo, because I think unless Leo is prepared, which I'm sure he probably is prepping for it, once offline comes back, I think Tweak Ziddy is going to give him a lot of trouble. I think Tweak Ziddy is going to give a lot of people a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But then I think that Tweak might run into issues because, like he said, he feels like Diddy struggles versus zoners. So like, let's say there's like a really good Rob or something, or like some other matchups where he runs into that he struggles to use Diddy in. He does have Sephiroth, but like, how polished is the Sephiroth going to be in like all those matchups compared to his Diddy? Because it feels like he's putting more work into Diddy in a lot of aspects. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I in terms of Diddy, I like we mentioned this earlier. His overall matchup spread is really good versus top tiers, but then there's those couple or few zoner matchups that you have to worry about to run into. So like, as soon as we mentioned Diddy and Tweak, my first thought was like, okay, he can beat MKLeo, but can he beat like T, for example?
Well, he has
like
Wolf.
I know they had a win. Yeah, he has a Wolf too. I don't know if the Wolf is still there, but
That's
sweet,
true.
so he probably plays polished. But that's one of the matchups that came to my mind immediately. The Pac-Mans, your Mega Mans, maybe even Min Min herself. I'm not sure how that matchup is for Diddy, but
I think
I'd imagine those would be ones. Think he wins?
Yeah,
I could see it. Yeah, Monkey Flip seems like it'd be pretty good in that matchup for disrupting her space. But yeah, that's definitely going to be something that I think he would be more worried about compared to just playing against Leo. I'm curious in terms of the other players, so Spargo and Zachary, what characters they actually intend to stick with for the long run. Because like I've seen a lot of characters come out from Spargo recently, and Zachary's always played 3-4 different characters. So I think he'll be okay in terms of dealing with counterpicks and stuff like that. But I really want to know who Spargo's settling down on when the offline meta returns. I know he's been playing Pyra Mithra, but he's still been playing Cloud as well. And I've even seen him mess around with Roy in a couple of these online events. So I'm like trying to figure out where he's at too.
Yeah, so in my personal opinion, I feel like, because Spargo's really good. Spargo, I think, like, as the game's life progresses, he's gonna have a really good chance of just like becoming the consistent #1. I think he, like, in the long run, he's gonna have the best chance of overthrowing Leo because of how ridiculously good he is. But I think if he continues with Cloud, he's not gonna be able to do it. I think he would have the best chance of doing that with Pyra Mithra. Because his Pyra Mithra is actually really good. It's like stupidly good. And he's actually he went to an offline event in California. It was like somewhere in SoCal. And he beat Razo pretty handily, it looked like. And like Razo, Razo's, he's not like
he's
the
good.
best of the best, but he's really good, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's still gonna, even if he still plays Cloud, he'll be fine. Only because he has the secondaries to back it up. If he was like a solo Cloud main, I'd agree with you. But like the way I see it is like he'll just go Cloud, and this is the same way how I feel about Diddy. Like Diddy loses or Tweaks Diddy. Like Diddy loses to zoners, but like it's Tweak and Spargo. They can just play one of their other characters that they're really good at if they know the matchups they're gonna fight against. So if it was any other player besides like those two, I would agree with you because a solo Cloud main or solo Diddy main, I don't know, it just sounds rough.
Yeah.
But they have so many other secondaries that they've proven to be like very good with already. So I think even if he plays Cloud going into the future, he'll still be fine just because he'll play secondaries.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Sorry, I should have like specified that. If he goes solo Cloud, because in the past, like before quarantine happened, he was slow. He was just strictly Cloud. I don't think I've ever seen him use any other characters besides Cloud.
Yeah.
Tournament.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he uses other characters, and I agree. But if he's only Cloud, I don't think he'll be able to do it. Not because I don't think Cloud can do it, but I just think it's gonna be like way too hard to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, being the best in the world with only Cloud, like that's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is hard. Yeah. And then I guess just to touch on Gluttony, I think he has a pretty solid shot just because he's kind of in like a similar place as Zachary, where he's like attending more offline events, so he's gonna have a bit more experience in that aspect. Like
Mhm.
he'll have like more experience offline than I would say Tweak and Spargo do. At least that's what I think.
I could be wrong, but as far as I know, he hasn't attended that many offline events. I think he's attended 1 or 2, but I could be wrong.
I think. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I know he there's like a big event in Switzerland that he went to or something like that.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that then. I know Japan has like a bunch of locals still, like on a
Yeah.
weekly basis.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, they're gonna be a little bit more prepared than I guess the rest of the world when it comes to getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do agree that like the Wario nerfs could hurt him. That being said, I watched Zachary play Wario at
Nothing's changed.
yeah, I watched Zachary play Wario and it was just like that character looks the same. Where was the nerf? He was still consistently getting off confirms. So
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think they have that many up tilt confirms. That was the one thing I didn't see after the patch.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is huge. I think
Yeah.
the characters, I don't know. He hasn't changed much, but he's changed more than anybody else from the last patch. I don't know. I think the nerfs might be just enough for Wario to not be like as dominant as he was before. Just having that up tilt into the waft, that was so toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that
I agree.
So toxic.
That
So toxic.
clutched out so many matches. Yeah, that I can agree.
Like a single up tilt shouldn't get you a stock at like 40. Like that makes no sense to me. It's just one up tilt. Like so
I'm just
yeah.
thinking about the fact that they found out right when quarantine happened, like, wait a minute, up throw waft is also a thing on certain characters. And I was just like, thank God we got a patch. Because if I saw somebody got up throw waft at like 20 and just died for getting grabbed, no.
I feel like that's
Live
why
that life of brawl, I'm done with that.
dude, I feel like that could have been the breaking point because people don't know. People don't know what Nintendo is watching. Like us make content on Smash. So if they see a particular character and they're like, "Oh, I don't like that," they'll remove that. They'll change it.
And get them out of here.
I'd also like to add 2 more players to that lineup. I think Mars definitely deserves to be mentioned, and I think
Oh, yeah.
T deserves to be mentioned as well.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's fair.
There's
That's
two
fair.
players.
Yeah, these.
T's so good. Every time he
Yeah.
goes to anything, he just wins or he gets top 3. And I feel like nobody really gives him like as much praise as they give like the other players that gets
That's
him
true.
results as he does. Maybe because he doesn't attend as much stuff, but anytime he does attend something like really stacked, he'll do great. As far as I know, at least.
I'll admit, like I forget Pac-Man exists in like the upper echelons of the characters, and then I'll just watch Teague and I'm like, wait a minute, this character's kind of a problem.
Yeah, no, that character.
Yeah, he's
I
insane.
think Pac-Man's like insanely good, but he's the only one that's like doing it like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I could totally agree on that. And he actually almost beat Leo at Frostbite. I think he was one of the players that like this was like game 5 last hit, and like he like flubbed some confirm.
I remember that he flubbed like a forward smash or something like that, and he ended up losing that set. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, it's painful. I remember that because it was Frostbite.
yeah. So I could totally see that. And then Mars, I'm kind of worried about because I don't know how transitioning between online and offline is going to affect him.
We also didn't
Yeah.
talk about Zero Suit as far as her nerfs too.
I will say I think
That's
Zero
amazing.
Suit's I think Zero Suit's nerfs were the smallest out of the characters that got nerfed that update. Well, I guess the second smallest because Joker's was the smallest.
They nerfed her up B. They made it 2 frames slower, if I'm not mistaken, and they nerfed her Nair on shield, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. I don't know. To me that sounds like not the craziest thing in the world, but when I play against ZSS now with Sheik, it just feels like I can forward air her shield and F tilt her shield a lot easier. Like just press buttons on her shield basically. And like I feel like now if I parry her nair, I can actually get a punish as well in some spots. Whereas before, even if I parried her nair, if she spaced it right, I couldn't get a punish. But yeah, I don't know how substantial those changes are gonna be. We're just gonna have to wait until offline. I'm sure Mars will still do fine.
Yeah, exactly. He's Mars. He's so good at reading people. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. He'll find some way to get the stock off, regardless if nair flip kick may not connect now.
Yeah. There's one other person I want to bring to the topic. I don't think I don't think he's gonna have like the best shot at beating Leo, but I feel like he's someone to definitely like keep an eye out for because he's really good. It's another Japanese player. Tags Atelier. He's a Pokemon trainer.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's
really
Pokemon
good.
trainer.
I think he's like becoming the most consistent player in Japan. Like
his recent tournaments he's won them, and he's like, and they were stacked too.
Yeah.
When I went to Japan, I actually played with him for like 2 days straight. Just me, him, T, like the Blink player, and Edge. We were just at a Smash Fest, and we were just playing like for 2 days straight. And I was playing against him, Atelier. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. And I was just like, "You're insane! Like, why did I not know about you? Like, you're insane!" Like, I was just playing him for 2 days, and he was just doing so good. And then apparently he used to play Wolf.
Yeah, he was originally a Wolf main.
PT. Yeah, he picked up PT like right before I came to Japan, and he didn't really have much time to polish his PT, and I kind of noticed that. But now after like a year or two, like he's been doing so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely see him being. I don't know. Japan just has a lot of really good players, to be honest. But he's been very consistent recently.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to keep an eye out on him.
Oh yeah.
I think just like being consistent in Japan says a lot.
Yeah. For
Speaking
sure.
of consistency, I have to bring him up. Kind of going slightly off topic, but what do you guys think about Akakikutsu? I think is his name, the hero player.
The hero?
I was like, you made this work. How?
Man, I think Hero's underrated. I when I look at him play, I just think Hero's like he has so much potential. He's like Shulk in a way where you kind of have to master all his like B moves or his menu. And once people get better at that, it's gonna be very annoying. I don't know. I just think Hero's underrated.
I'm of the opinion even now that like Hero is probably the best character at forcing other characters to approach. So like I don't think any single character in this game can outcamp Hero. Doesn't matter what you try to do because the moment he gets Accelerado, Psych Up, and then it's just like, well,
man, Accelerado is just
it's just like how do you?
I think Accelerado is his best power up.
Free.
Yeah,
crazy.
right. Yeah, it's so good. He's like Scat says, he's very anti-zone-esque. Like if you play against zoners with Hero, like you're gonna have a good time because you can just camp them out. Like their game plan will work against them, so you can just like kind of take your time. And there's so many like zoners that are good in current meta that Hero's just gonna do good because of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree. Like there's no character who can just like beat zoners that's not going to be a good pick in Ultimate because this game is like very, I wouldn't say it's like a zone, like a character zoning heavy game, but
it kind of is compared to the other Smashes, right?
Yeah, comparison, but like it's more so how you deal with zoners are important, but I don't think that there's a lot of zoners, if that makes sense. Like they don't make up the majority of the cast, but they're just.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But they're just important to be able to fight against because if you lose to zoners, you're probably a mid tier. That's how it is. You're probably a mid tier if you just consistently lose to zoners.
Yeah. I also think. Go ahead.
All right, I was just gonna say like I brought up Akakikutsu, excuse me, primarily because like it put this thought in my mind of just Hero as a character and like is it actually possible for him to be somewhat consistent in a bracket on a tournament level to, you know, make that result that Akaki Kutu had, getting second to what I think it was just Atelier, or no, he got third.
He got third. Yeah.
And I look at this character and I'm just like, wow, being able to not camp him is very, very strong. And I'm just wondering if we would see more of him in the future, if that's like something we'd have to, you know, be mindful of when it comes to offline events when they do come back in full scale.
So something I want to say about here that, I mean, I definitely learned about it because I was like kind of the same thing about his menu. It's that like, it's easy for him to cycle through power-ups and just get them because, from what I've heard, whenever he pulls up menu, he'll always have a power-up available, which I think is insane.
At least one, right? One out of the 4.
Yeah.
Always? Wow, I actually didn't know that.
So
that's pretty insane.
So it's like, okay, you cycle through menu, you just put a power-up on, and then you go through menu again, you have another power-up, and you just put it on. So it's easier for him to cycle up or cycle through those and get what he needs to like be a better character for that brief moment.
Yeah. He also has Bounce, which is even more anti-zoner, and Accelerado, which is just you can play around like projectiles and stuff because of it. So yeah, he's pretty. Actually, I didn't know he had one power up every time he pulled up his menu. I feel like somebody told me that a while ago, but I forgot about it. That's kind of insane if you think about it.
Yeah, because it just makes it that much easier to get like what he needs.
Yeah.
It makes sense because there's always that little bit of time where I've seen some heroes just randomly use something on the menu. It's like, okay, this is making sense to use now. But if you're just thinning out your menu that way, then it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah. And then the thing about Zoom, which I don't know if you know this, but if you're near the blast zone, you have like a higher chance of getting it.
Yeah,
I knew that, yeah. What was I going to say? I still think, this might be a hot take, but I still think heroes should be banned.
You're one of those, huh?
Hold on. Not because of his RNG, but just because of the language barrier. Like, what are you gonna do if you're like an American top player, you go to Japan? Like, what the are you gonna do? Or like, I'm sorry, if you're a Japanese player, you go to America and you're a hero main. Like, what the are you gonna do? Like, I don't.
If you're playing against a hero main.
Yeah, for example, yeah. It's just I feel like there's no solution to that at all. Like, the only solution I can think of is Nintendo updates the game and like patches in like icons next to like the text, so you can just tell based off of the icon like what power up he gets or what ability he gets. But like other than that, it's just like I don't want to travel to Japan just to fight like a hero player and not know what the fuck I'm up against. Like,
kaboom! What is that, Japanese?
I truly feel like there's no solution. Like, I've thought about it for a while, but like I can't think of one.
Well, I actually talked to Raito about this like not too long ago, or like it was actually a long time ago because I forgot quarantine. But
yeah, it's been a minute.
He said that he feels like if he goes to the US and he fights a hero player and he doesn't know what they say or what the menu says, it's his fault for not knowing English.
I remember Raito saying that because I think he also said it on Twitter. But I feel like the Japanese are just very humble when it comes to certain stuff like that. And I think even if you did learn English really well, or if you learn Japanese really well, you're still gonna have a slower reaction time when it comes to reading the menu as what do you call it? Just somebody that actually
speaks
native
Japanese, language, right?
Yeah, native language, yeah. So like I can speak Japanese, I can probably read the words, right? But I'm not gonna like know like exactly what it means as fast as like the native speakers. Yeah. So they're just always gonna have an advantage, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
like we don't have to get into this. We don't have to get into
this. It's one of those things that no matter what, you know he's gonna be allowed in tournament.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's not even the RNG part. It's literally just the language barrier like part that makes me want to like I don't know, kind of want to ban him. But we'll see.
I wouldn't be opposed. Hero's by far my least favorite character in the game fights live. I'm not mad if that happens by any means.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into another topic. So, the Smash Roll Tour. What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, you guys have like the tournament this weekend, right?
I have one this weekend. I think Scats is later.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks out for me. something like that.
I don't know. Like competing online with that much on the stake, it's hard to do. It's very like mentally draining, and I can definitely see why people wouldn't like that. But at the same time, I feel like we should still be grateful that we have something like this during quarantine. And we also don't know, like, you know, Gimmer, who like organizes the whole thing. We don't know if like the sponsors of Smash World Tour, if you're willing to wait until like offline comes back. Maybe this was like a time-related thing where they have to host it during quarantine because they might not have the budget otherwise later on because of sponsors leaving. Like we don't know enough, basically. But yeah, part of me really doesn't like competing with that much on the line on Wi-Fi. But another part of me kind of understands where the other side is coming from. So I don't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as Ramen. Like I feel like it's not exactly the ideal conditions to compete, and I don't think I would see myself doing this like long term or long run. And I feel like if they're gonna continue to do it, then at some point, some way, shape, or form, they have to transition back to offline, at least in, I don't know if it's going to be like in the form of an invitational, what they're going to do. Honestly, I'm not too familiar with Smash World Tour in terms of like the format itself, but I personally would like much rather that they would just wait. But like you were saying, Ramen, like they may not have the ability to do that. We don't know if the sponsors are going to pull out in that time frame that we have now. So I just feel like, you know, if you want to compete in it, go for it, by all means. And, you know, shout outs to everybody that took the time to put it together, because, you know, this is an opportunity that Smash just literally has never had. And I don't think it's good to waste that opportunity as well. So if you want to do it, go for it. But I know for me personally, I'm going to compete because, again, it's an opportunity that's hard to pass up. But I'm not going to say I'm going to be the most enjoyable of it, but I'm thankful for it. Put it that way.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all pretty much feel the same way about it. It just sucks that we had to do this online qualifier. So Scat, just in case you don't know, basically there's an online qualifier, and then like after, I think it's like eight people who make it to the 8 people who place, they're gonna be put in an offline regional, and then depending on the number you will qualify or something like that.
Yeah. From the offline regional, then you qualify to the, I guess, the world tour section of it, where everyone from the different regions compete. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, so basically this is like just a tournament to get into an offline tournament, and then the actual like final bracket of the world tour.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we all think that, you know, the metas online, offline are drastically different, but I can't knock them for dealing or using the cards that they were dealt. So
yeah, like you guys said, we don't know exactly like what happened. Like they probably just had to do it because the sponsors were probably just gonna back out, or they had like a contractual agreement to do it after a certain period.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no way we could actually know. But what I will say is, as much as it sucks, I do think it's a good opportunity for people who may not have entered the world tour if it wasn't online. So I think this could be a good chance to give some online, some Wi-Fi warrior exposure that may not have gotten it. And you know,
that's true.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the prize pool, I definitely would not enter, because I feel like it's like one of those things where I feel like, okay, it's online, I'm probably not going to do well at this event because it's online, but I know I would be kicking myself if I didn't at least enter and try.
Yeah,
yep,
for sure.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you pointed it out too, because there are definitely, especially throughout the last year, there's definitely been so many players that, you know, we may not have even known about because of Wi-Fi being where it is. And like, despite it again being a different meta, there are definitely some outstanding players that have sprung up in the last year, and it's good that Smash Bros. Tour does draw attention to that.
Yeah, much as it sucks.
Let me ask you guys
Yeah.
something else. How do you guys feel about when offline comes back? How do you guys feel about like the quote unquote Wi-Fi warriors? Do you think they're still gonna do good? Do you think they're gonna do worse?
I definitely think most of them are going to do worse, but I don't think that's. It's just like I feel like Smash Online and Offline are just two completely different games, you know.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I feel like there will be online players who, they transition like decently offline, but then there's going to be some who just they're gonna be far worse. I think it also depends on how you approach online, because there's a lot of people who will just utilize the input delay and like the gimmicks that online has to their advantage, and you can't get away with certain things online or offline.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also think even if the players that compete in Wi-Fi right now, even if they've like improved a lot and they're a lot better than they were before, offline is going to be more stacked, because a lot of people, like, I don't know, Dark Wizzy or Mars or you or Void, they're just not entering a lot of the online events. So I don't think they're going to be worse players. I don't think necessarily they're going to do worse. It's just the competition's going to be harder.
It's very true.
Yeah.
So,
That's fair.
yeah.
About it.
So that's why I think they won't do as well. But that's not because I don't think they're as good. It's just because the competition is more stacked, basically.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And it's funny that you bring that up, but one player in particular that is going to an offline event today, Fatality, shout out to him. If you watch the stream, go to 44 Esports. He's going to his first offline event because he's vaccinated and he's being safe and all that. But I am inclined to agree with that. Like, there are quite a few matchups, especially so, that I think are just drastically different than how you would play them online, and it may just end up being a wake-up call. So if I just need to give an example, the number one suspect that I'm sure most of you know of on Wi-Fi is Sonic, right? That's a character that thrives off of it, and I'm not saying there's a lot of Sonic players, but dealing with certain scenarios with offline characters, quote unquote, is just like an experience in and of itself. And if you haven't played in that specific scenario, you're not gonna like. I don't think there's any amount of online play that you could do that could prepare you for it. So you mentioned Dark Wizzy. That's one. You ever been in the corner against Dark Wizzy when he's back here and constantly is less trapping you? Have you ever been in the corner against a top Peach player offline? I promise you, it's a world of difference. Having to deal with that range of being able to react, or dealing with somebody that is reacting to your ledge options, I don't think it's something that you can learn from online play. But I agree with you, Ramen. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a knock on any online players. Like, you can definitely and will definitely improve from online gameplay.
For sure.
But you are definitely gonna have to deal with some players that have, dominant winning strategies offline.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, for all I know, I could be wrong, because a lot of those players you mentioned earlier, they haven't been grinding and practicing as much as like the people that compete in Wi-Fi tournaments every week. Like, I don't know, Epic Gabriel, for example. Like, I'm sure he'll do fine offline, and it's really hard for me to gauge whether he's gonna do better offline. I'm just using him as an example, but you could use anybody that competes at these Wi-Fi tournaments as an example. I don't know how much better they gotten in the last year or so compared to the players that haven't been entering and practicing it as much on Wi-Fi. Like, maybe the gap's significantly smaller for all we know. Like, a year and a half is a long time. So I really don't know. I just think it's gonna be. All I know for sure is it's gonna be more stacked offline. So the odds of them doing just as well is gonna be lower. Like, that's my logic.
Yeah.
But whether they're better players than the people that have gotten results offline, like, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Something I will say about Epic Gabriel is that he was a notable player offline even before online was a thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, there are definitely some players who have made a name online, so it'd be interesting to see them come out and compete.
Oh yeah, for sure. So,
oh, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, speaking of online, something that I kind of wanted to like talk to you guys about myself. How do y'all feel about Yuzu Parsec? Because that's
I haven't
been
played
the
yet.
I think it's good. My only gripe with it is that whoever hosts has a significant advantage. That's my only issue. But if you can like find a host that is kind of near both players to balance out the input delay, I think it's fine. It's like definitely a way better way of practicing Smash than online currently. Than Smash is online.
Oh yeah, I to be honest, from my own personal experiences, I have only legitimately got the chance to play it like once, and this was when I went to Fatality Space a while back. But as of late, I've been trying to set it up myself, and it's quite. I'll say it's quite a few steps to getting it working right, and there's definitely a barrier of entry in terms of like using Yuzu Parsec, because you have to have a decent internet connection. You also have to have, like you mentioned, a host to make sure that the amount of latency between you, the person you're playing, is the exact same. And there's a lot of prerequisites for it, but I think going into the future, as offline tournaments come back into the fray, I think that that's going to be the way to go. And I'm wondering if it's going to ever actually get to the point where it's like widespread enough to be a difference maker in terms of how you practice, who you practice with, and playing in the comfort of your own home against someone that's not anywhere near you, so that you can prepare for those offline events.
Yeah, no, I 100% think it will be. I feel like using Parsec in terms of using it to practice, it's still in its infancy stages, but it's kind of gotten rushed because of quarantine, so more people are investing into it. But I think as time progresses, the better Yuzu Parsec will get, and it'll probably reach a point where there's literally like no difference between playing offline and doing that. Because right now there still is, but it's just not it's not nearly as bad as Smash Online. And then like I said before, if you're hosting, you're at such a huge advantage. And like, if you've ever played someone using Parsec and they're the host, that's why you're probably losing way more than you thought you would. just to tell you, like, there's.
Don't worry, I've been watching Fatality streams every day using Parsec. I'm watching them.
there's a big advantage for the person hosting. But I'm sure like as time passes, it'll get to a point where there's no difference at all.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they recently release a new version with like less lag and it's like more stable or something?
Yeah, I do remember hearing something about that. I don't know if it was related to the frame drops that you get when Yuzu's like loading whatever, I guess, game states into memory.
Yeah, I think it was the shaders.
It was just general frame drops.
Yeah.
Oh, the shaders.
I think it was just like it had something to do with like shaders, like because you have to go through all that stuff to get it to like load more effectively. I think it just made it so that it will run more smoothly.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
That's good.
Yeah, like if that's the case, and if I manage to get a better internet connection than I do have, then I definitely will want to look into it more than I am.
That's how I feel too. I just feel like I'm so bad with like technical stuff on computers, like just setting up Yuzu sounds like a headache. It's just I'm really bad at stuff like that. But honestly, I think it's worth like the time I'll invest into like setting it up and whatever, just because of like anything you can do to have a better version of Smash Online, it's probably worth it.
Yeah.
But I also heard your computer needs to be good, and my computer's like, it's not bad, but it's not amazing either. I do have a decent internet connection, so I've been kind of holding it off, even though I should probably just at least try play on it, because it's worth the time you're going to invest into it, because it's literally just better Smash Online. So I'm probably going to do that like soon.
Yeah, that's always been the borderline in my mind. It's like worst case scenario, this is still probably going to be better than what we have natively in the
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Nintendo Online sucks, man.
It's a shame.
Dude, they just
One day.
they just made Mario Party. They just allowed you to
I'm
play.
sure about that.
Yeah, they just recently updated Mario Party so you can play your friends online
Oh my
on
god.
maps.
Dude, listening.
Because you couldn't play your friends on different maps. You could only play like I think it was 15 mini games.
So trash. Why didn't they release the game like, with that function?
Yeah, so it's like that's how bad Nintendo is with online features.
Yeah.
Something that's
It's
simple.
still
We gotta
sad.
wait 2 years for an update for online to Smash Online. I'm gonna cry. We have to wait 2 years for it. I'm gonna cry.
Man, imagine like Smash Ultimate with good netcode and like an actual like ladder system in game. That'd be so cool. I'd literally just play Smash all day. Like I wouldn't do anything else. I'd just grind my way up to the ladder with no lag at all. It sounds like a dream. It sounds like a dream, but it shouldn't sound like a dream. I feel like it's very easily doable, but it's not gonna happen.
I feel like knowing Nintendo, they're gonna release it a month before the new Smash game is announced.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's already been 2 years out, so you know, we shall see. We shall see. But please, just give us a Mario Party-esque update. Like, what you do this for Mario Party, but not Smash? Come on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Infinity Con.
Oh boy.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Okay. So, what's your opinion on Infinity Con hosting the event? So, just to, I guess, give you guys an idea, Infinity Con is basically a convention that's going to be hosting a Smash event. It's looking to be a very big event, and Florida has a law that prevents you from requiring vaccinations, like proof of vaccination, in order to attend the event. So basically, if you're not vaccinated, you don't even have to you could lie and say you are vaccinated, or if you're not vaccinated, you could go. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So what do you think about them doing it, and on the scale they're doing it? Because again, this is going to be a really big event.
I already made a tweet about this actually earlier today, and I think going to smaller, like more controlled locals right now, or soon at least, I think that's fine. Like I don't really mind that, especially if you're vaccinated. I mean, only if you're vaccinated. But I personally wouldn't go to an event with thousands of people, even if I'm vaccinated right now, because I just feel like my attendance is going to contribute to more people going, and then a good portion of those people probably aren't vaccinated, because like you said, you don't have to be vaccinated to go to that event. So I still wouldn't go, but at the same time, I feel like a year and a half is a long time, and if you're vaccinated right now, I understand. Like I can see where you're coming from if you want to attend an event like that. Like I'm not gonna shame you for it. If anything, I'd probably criticize the event organizers over anything else than people wanting to go, because yeah, a year and a half is a long time, and it's taking its toll on some people's mental health. And I don't know. I can't really expect everybody to have the same endurance as some of us and just stay home and not go to anything. So yeah, I guess I would say make sure you're vaccinated if you're gonna go. Make 100% sure you're vaccinated. And if you're angry about the event happening, I think you should be angry at the event organizers rather than the vaccinated people that are going. You can criticize them for it, but there's a difference between criticizing them and getting angry at them and shaming them publicly. So yeah, that's where I stand on it.
Yes, I'm pretty much the same. So I have absolutely zero plans to go to Infinity Con whatsoever. And like I mentioned earlier, we have our local that's going on here called 404 Esports, and they're running their own event right now, and it's at a significantly smaller scale than what they have going on at Infinity Con. And of course, you have to make sure you're verified in terms of you got your vaccination card, take that, make sure you have your mask, you make sure you keep your 6 feet, make sure you keep yourself essentially just socially distanced and safe. But I just don't see it being feasible or safe at all to hold a national of that kind of scale. But granted, like you're saying, like I understand people have been inside for so long now, and if they've taken the steps to get vaccinated and to keep themselves safe, then I'm not going to say anything about it, and I'm not going to shun you if you do decide to go. I just know, personally speaking, I'm not going to condone anyone to go. I'm not going to go myself, because I know that realistically speaking, when it comes to getting events back, I think there's going to be several changes that are going to have to be made. And this is something it's slightly off topic, but it's related to just nationals in general. And it's kind of just the idea of when nationals will be back in full effect. And I remember reading a while back that I believe it was Vasef. He was like, realistically speaking, we shouldn't expect to see any kind of nationals until like maybe 2023. For
Jeez.
yeah, like he was just like, all right, it's not, it's you know, of course there's quarantining, and then there's people having to deal with the virus that's going on now and all that, but on top of it, it's just the cost of being able to run a tournament in that kind of environment, because there are TOs that you know, we've been to so many Smash tournaments at this point. We know that the majority of the events that happen run at a negative or run at a loss. Like there are very, very few events that are able to run without being able to, you know, tank the hit. So like I don't expect to see actual safe tournaments that, you know, adhere to the CDC for America and for the US specifically, or other local, you know, government ordinances in terms of health, for a very, very long time if we're trying to get to the national level. But you know, when it comes to locally and maybe even regionally, as more and more people get vaccinated, I do think it's feasible for that to happen, and I do think it's feasible for people to be able to, or for TOs in particular, to be able to implement something to ensure safety.
Yeah. I also just think like just the thought of thousands of like smashers at like a tournament.
Smashers.
Yeah, but not even just smashers, but I'd say gamers in general.
Yeah, gamers in general too.
Yeah, they're not like the cleanest bunch. I'd say.
Yeah.
So, and this comes from like attending majors like for like, I don't know, 9 years, and going to the bathroom frequently and just seeing, I don't know, a good like 20 to 25% of the people are not washing their hands.
Yeah.
Even though everybody can see them, like they're in public.
Yeah.
Like, or if you don't want to wash your hands at home, sure, you know, it's disgusting, but I don't care. But like the fact that you're not willing to do it in public where everybody can see you, like that's that's the next level for me.
And then touching people after not doing that, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But-
yeah, like I'm not gonna attend one of those for sure, but I feel the same way as Scat does.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like get angry.
I'm you know, I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
Yeah, so I guess just to add on top of what you guys are saying, I mean, I agree. I feel like at this point, we should just be doing locals and like invitational events, but like more small and controlled events in general. Like,
I feel like we're skipping a step. We're just not having any locals or region. We're just straight up going to like a major.
Well,
I feel like, damn,
I don't think it's I think it's like, it's Florida. Because
that's true.
yeah, it's like this one area, and it's not even. It's I'm not even saying it's like the Smash community, because the Smash community is not hosting Infinity Con.
Yeah,
it's just like a byproduct. Like Infinity Con just so happens to be having a Smash tournament there, and I mean, let's be honest, like it's like what Ramen said. Like, not everyone's going to be willing to just like sit there and not go to an event. It's super tempting. So I'm not gonna like blame people who go, because some people are just like, crap, I just need to go out and like do something. Like I get it, but it just sucks that the organizers even like made that an option, or like a thought that people had to think about. That's what sucks.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just happy that Kayak is, you know, I trust him to do what he can to just make sure that it's as safe as possible.
Yeah. And then there's something else I want to say, because go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, just to be clear, when I say event organizers, I don't mean CACs. I just mean like the organizers of, of the entire event.
I was
like,
saying,
if anything, I'm glad CAC is the one in charge of like the Smash tournament, because like he's a good TL. I know he's gonna at least make it as safe as possible. So just to clarify, what I meant when I said event organizers.
Yeah. And then just to add on top of something, because I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, well, who cares if people go who aren't unvaccinated? It's their choice. Well, the issue that a lot of people who may be thinking like that don't get is that the virus that you know that's been happening, the pandemic that's been happening, the virus can mutate. So the issue isn't just that like this particular person is endangering themselves. It's that if they get the virus, there's a possibility it mutates and it becomes like an even stronger virus where the vaccine that people are currently getting isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
That's like the big issue that people are worried about. It's not necessarily that this particular person is putting themselves in danger. It's that there's like this chance that it gets worse than what it than what it was before.
I mean, it's scary. There's like a UK mutation right now in Europe. And I think there's like a New York mutation in America. And I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how strong these vaccines are either. Like, I'm just not informed enough. But yeah, it's pretty scary to think about that. Even if you're vaccinated, you can still be at risk. Like, that's a scary thought to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the vaccination in general, it'll severely lower your risk from some strands, but again, like if it keeps mutating, there's a chance that that mutation just will prevent the other, or will prevent the vaccine from working.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's you know, I'm still holding out hope that, you know, within the next year or two, things will get back to kind of normal in that sense. But like, I'll be real with y'all. Like, if I ever go to an event now, I've gotten so much to the habit of wearing a mask anyway. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not trying to get sick today. I'll probably wear a mask regardless.
Same.
If
Yeah.
I feel like it's there.
Yeah. And to add on what Larry said earlier, like if you're not vaccinated and you want to go, it's like you're not only putting yourself at risk. I can't believe I have to explain this again. I've said this like a million times already. But people still don't seem to get that if you're not vaccinated and you go to the tournament, like you're putting a lot more people than just yourself at risk. So the people that say, well, I don't care about my health, even if I get COVID, like I'm sure I'll be fine. It's just, you know, it's not about you only, all right? You're helping like the spread of the virus by not being vaccinated and attending events like that. And again, I can't believe I have to explain this, but apparently a lot of people still don't get that concept, even like a year and a half into like COVID. So just wanted to add to what you were saying earlier, Larry.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that's it. Unless there's something else you guys want to talk about or mention.
I mean, we can do like chat Q&A if you guys have any questions.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, I've had stream go up for a while, so yeah. If anybody has any questions on my end too, you're more than welcome to ask.
Should I have a question?
Talk to us, chat. Any questions?
Any cues? Someone min meta. That is the first question I got.
Min meta. This character is, again, I think a better version of Mega Man in a lot of ways. So like, expect what Mega Man does, where he's extremely centered around controlling the mid range, and he's very, very, very strong in the neutral. But also kind of, well, Mega Man doesn't have this problem, which is why, like, why do you have boxing options up close? But anyways, she's supposed to have the weakness of, okay, you finally get in on her, you finally force her into a corner, you finally get to a point where, you know, her arms aren't necessarily the safest things to her out, but she kind of has, you know, really, really good nair, a really, really good up smash out of shield, maybe one of the best up smash out of shields in the game.
Her up tilt's good too.
Yeah, her up tilt's very good too.
Yeah. Up smash,
down tilt is ridiculous. Up smash, I just even she doesn't even have a bad jab. Like, I don't know why a character like this exists.
Her recovery isn't the best either, but like because of her range, she can make sure people don't like get close to her when she's recovering. So not a lot of people can like just reliably go off stage without like having to shield one of her aerials, right? But I'd say her biggest weakness is probably her recovery, even despite what I just said.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a recovery, like without question.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of the same scenario, right? Where you're fighting against like a Joker off stage, right, with Arsene, and then they just egg on the ledge, and people are like, this recovery is so free. It's so free to 2-frame, and then you just get egg on in the face.
Yeah.
And then either you're blocking it, so you're not able to actually intercept the recovery, or you're getting hit by it, so you're not able to actually intercept the recovery. Min does the same thing with her arm, except again, it's a full screen arm. So like if she smash attacks you and she's like actively putting a hitbox in front of you while she's falling, it's not as free as a lot of people think it is. But it is her weakness.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised not more of the West is complaining about when Min. It's mostly just Japan from what I've seen. But again, it probably goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like I don't think enough top players play her right now.
Yeah, well, it's also
that's gonna change.
Yeah, it's also because I feel like I just feel like Japan, like in certain aspects of the meta, they're just more ahead. So
I agree.
Yeah, so they just know.
Yeah, yep. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think this character is absolutely going to be relevant for pretty much the rest of the game's lifespan. Like the design of the character itself, it just leans itself to be polarizing and leans itself to just be oppressive against certain characters in the cast. Like she's going to be there to gatekeep other characters, and other characters are going to pretty much be able to handle her fairly well. It's just yeah, it's going to be quite the show offline. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, there's one other flaw Min has. It's being juggled. I don't think she has good landing options.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Her airspeed's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because even with Downer's just like it's not that good of an option. It's just an act of desperation.
Up. Yeah,
that too.
Favorite players? I'll let you guys go first.
Oh, put us on the spot. Okay. If I have to say my favorite, are we just talking ultimate, or are we just talking?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so just an ultimate. I can definitely say right now my favorite 2 players to watch are definitely, of course, Tweak, because he plays Sephiroth and Sephiroth's sick. And I'm actually a really big fan of Riddles as well. Don't hate me for this, but Terry was actually my favorite character in the game to watch for a long time. Offline.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. I think the Shotos are pretty fun to watch just because of like how they work. Like they're super combo heavy. I don't like playing against them.
Yeah,
I like watching them. Yeah. I feel the same way about like, I don't know, Young Link. Like I hate fighting against Young Link, but I like watching a good Young Link. It's just the way he combos and stuff.
Right.
For me, it would be in no order. It would probably be Spargo, Tweak, and Void.
Yeah. Void's really, dude. Once offline comes back, I'm actually excited to see what Void does.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, same.
So Scar.
I just think Sheik is better offline too. So.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see. I also think I also think Sheik is like pretty anti-meta. Like she actually wins against Min, in my opinion, and she wins against Sephiroth. And like those two characters beat like my entire lineup except Sheik. So it's like, all right, I'm really glad I have Sheik in those matchups. And then she's also pretty good against Rob. She's good against DSS. She's good against Joker. She's just a very like anti-meta character right now. And I think once offline comes back, it's gonna be interesting to see how Void does. Japan right now is also having a lot of Sheik results and offline tournaments. So it's gonna be exciting.
My favorite player to watch is Zachary's Wolf. So I'm sad he doesn't use
Zachary's Wolf.
Did he drop Wolf?
Yeah, he dropped Wolf like a long time ago. I think the very last time he played Wolf in tournament was against ESAM at Summit. That was it.
Oh wow, his Wolf was so much fun to watch. He actually mained Wolf in the beginning, right? The first few months of
I remember
Ultimate.
Genesis. Yeah, did.
His Wolf was sick.
Yeah.
Who does he even play nowadays? Like
he plays Joker, Wario, and Rob. Although he has a really good Sephiroth. I think he might start using Sephiroth more.
Yeah, that's a broken lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because I feel like his issue is just like he counterpicks himself.
Actually,
it's kind of the curse of playing a lot of characters in tournament.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a good and a bad problem to have, but
yep.
when you're at that level.
Yeah.
If we don't have any other questions, I actually got like a couple questions.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
one discussion topic, and then I guess one question for you, Ramen, because I'm curious.
Sure.
Who actually does well against Sheik, in your opinion? A lot of characters missing out. I'm like, wow, these are all top tier characters, huh?
Yeah, I think she does pretty good against top tiers. I personally struggle, and this is probably a Wi-Fi thing, but there's some zoners that are annoying for me. Like Young Link's pretty annoying. Samus is pretty annoying. There's also some heavies, but I think heavies on Wi-Fi just get buffed, and I've only been playing Wi-Fi in the last year and a half, so I can't really tell like how good she is against certain heavies because it's Wi-Fi. But I feel like some heavies are pretty annoying for her too. Yeah, let me look at the character roster. Okay, so I think Mario's annoying for her. I think Samus is annoying. I think Yoshi is annoying for her. Pikachu is annoying. When I say annoying, I mean like probably losing and at best even. Ness, I feel like is in the same spot as the ones I mentioned. Young Link. So there's actually a good amount of characters that I don't really like playing against as Sheik. And surprisingly, they're like on the lower end of the tier list. I think Sheik's really good against like top tiers for whatever reason. She just has like good matchups against a lot of top tiers. So yeah, to answer your questions, I guess those characters I just mentioned.
Okay,
And
so
probably
so what I'll say is after talking to Void and then actually looking into the character myself, I'm just gonna say once the meta progresses more, I don't think Sheik will lose very many matchups.
Oh,
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Like,
no.
So the topic I remember the topic I talked about characters becoming more dominant offline. I think Sheik's actually one of those characters, but I don't think it will immediately happen, which is why I didn't mention it.
Yeah. I also think what's holding Sheik back is her high skill gap. Like, and I'm not just saying this because I play Sheik, but I do truly think she's like probably the hardest character I play for my entire like cast of characters or lineup of characters I play. I just think like she can be very like glass cannon. Like if you don't know your combos, your kill setups, she might seem a lot worse than she is. But like if you know how to combo properly, you know how to kill early properly, she seems like a much better character all of a sudden. So I just think she's pretty high skill gap, and a lot of like mid-level Sheiks and even high-level Sheiks can't really showcase how good she truly is. So yeah, that's why a lot of people have like a skewed opinion on her, review on her. They're like, oh well, she does no damage because her F tilt is like 5%. Yeah, that's true, but like you can F tilt up air into like forward air into whatever, into like an entire true combo that does like 50. It's like, why does it matter that the individual hits don't do a lot of damage? That's only bad if you're a bad player and can't string everything. Then then it's gonna be more apparent that her damage output is bad. But if you're Void and you forward tilt somebody at 30 and they eat like 40% because of it, then who the cares that your forward tilt does 5%? It doesn't matter. So I just feel like people, the better people get at playing her, like the better her meta becomes, and that's like that applies to her more so than almost any other character, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right, I had another topic of discussion, but I do have a question from my chat real quick. So someone in my chat is asking, what do you think about Yoshi, Larry?
I mean, I think they're high tier. Yoshi's one of those characters that I feel like throughout the entirety of Smash, excluding Melee, well, like going from Brawl onward, people have had like a very high opinion of Yoshi, but then nothing ever happens.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because no top players play Yoshi. Because he's lame, like nobody wants to main Yoshi.
Oh, no, there's some notable Yoshi players. There's Meme and Suarez.
That's true. Meme and Suarez are quite good. Yeah, that's true. I guess I meant like again, I don't know, top 20 players, top 25 players.
Well, yeah, there's Yoshido and Ron that play Yoshi in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe. Ron's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he made Mario and Luigi.
He
Or did
means
he
like
just play Yoshi?
he just plays the Mario characters
Oh, just all of them. Okay.
and Kirby, I think.
Oh, he's just
Yeah.
trying to box. Got it.
He plays a bunch of characters now.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's get into that then. Why isn't Yoshi seen more at like the highest echelon of play?
Because he's lame. Nobody wants to main Yoshi.
I think people just don't like him. People just don't like the character.
I'm sorry, Yoshi mains, but you know, I hate fighting against Yoshi. It's just can't combo that character, can't do anything. If he downers me once, I eat like 40%. Like can't gimp him, can't combo him, can't edge guard him. Like that's not fun. So yeah, I just think I just think people don't play him because it's like he's lame. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess to give a little more nuanced answer, in my opinion, I think Yoshi's not seen at like the tippy top, partially because of what Ramen said. Like character hype is a factor. Like I'll be real, I think part of the reason we don't see Min Min, we mentioned this earlier, we see a lot more Sephiroth than Min Min, but being real, Min Min and Sephiroth kind of have the same game plan in a lot of ways. People don't see it yet, but Sephiroth's a lot cooler, so you see a lot more of him. But anyways, more nuance Yoshi. I think Yoshi's primary issue at top level is, I almost want to say it's linearity in his game plan. In the sense that like he kind of has the tools that he has, and then he kind of has tools that he lacks. So Yoshi, when he jumps at you, right, he's pretty much just going to jump at you. He's going to do one of two things. He's going to either egg lay or he's going to press a button. But those buttons are either slow or they're very, very lacking in range. So in terms of like risk reward for what he's doing, I just think that there are characters that are better at playing that kind of game. And they are also characters that kind of quote unquote cheat the game. So like if you look at top tier now, they have some kind of oppressive tool or some kind of tool that just gives them a comeback mechanic back into the game. So i.e. Joker, Pikachu with quick attack, or Pikachu's neutral in general. Or some sort of cheese in some way. Yoshi doesn't really have cheese like that. Like you have a couple of egg setups and downer setups to get lots of damage, but nothing to just say, hey, I'm losing, now I'm winning the game. I can come back.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't really have anything like that.
I mean, to be fair though, Yoshi doesn't need that, just because Yoshi's a pretty heavy character.
That's true.
Pretty heavy character, good mobility. I kind of
so
feel like
one could even say Yoshi is an honest character.
Yeah, no. See, being honest in this game is a problem. No,
Yoshi's not honest. that character can double jump out of combos.
That's true. Yeah, Yoshi's definitely not honest.
Yeah, there's no.
Okay, people think like not having jank correlates to being like honest. I don't know about that. I feel like you can not have jank and still be a dishonest character if you like other aspects of your moveset are stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
but I was like, nah, their characters' terms are.
Like let's look at Sheik. Sheik is not an honest character at all. She doesn't have any like super crazy BS, but good luck.
No, Sheik's pretty honest. Sheik's pretty honest.
Good luck winning. Good luck winning neutral against Sheik, man.
Hey man, I die at like 40. All right, so yeah, I'm an honest character.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, man.
I guess the other kind of topic of the discussion I want to go to, because we really didn't touch on this character a lot, but like this is another character that I think may actually potentially be like top 5, top 10 in the future, and that's again Pyramithra. Like that character is. Y'all want to talk about dishonest? Foresights. I'm terrified of that move, and I'm terrified of where that character can go just from foresight alone.
Yes, literally. I think people are still bad at using foresight like intentionally right now. I like to compare it with like when Ultimate came out and everybody was like really bad at parrying, and a lot of people were like, well, I don't know if parrying can be implemented because it's so hard and it's so precise. But then like fast forward a few months and we see Light in tournaments like the Fox lane, and he just parries everything because he was really good at it back then. And then people started to believe like, okay, actually parrying is pretty good. Like we can use it intentionally all the time. And I feel like Foresight might have a similar thing happen to it over the course of like the next few months, or maybe even more than that. where people are just gonna get better at intentionally using foresight, especially against stuff like projectiles, right? Because you don't even have to commit being anywhere near your opponent. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be as consistent as like parrying turned out to be. So yeah, this is just another thing. I'm not. I don't have enough data right now. I'm just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Honestly, foresight isn't that difficult to do in certain situations. Like shielding multi-hits. If you shield a multi-hit as Mithra, you can just foresight it. And you get a punish.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's it.
Like every multi-hit I've seen so far, like she could just foresight and you get a punish.
That's why I'm just like in my head, just thinking about like theoretical top tier matchups. Anytime I think of any of the top tier matchups that have multi hits, I'm like, wow, every other character in the game kind of has to just hold this disadvantage, a hold shield and wait.
Mm-hmm.
So Pikachu forward airing or back airing your shield at any point in time or nearing. Mythra's probably one of the only characters that can kind of get out of that. I think Terry being the other one, which I also think that character is kind of slightly underrated because spot dodge canceling is very, very stupid. But
with Terry being underrated.
Yeah. But situations like that, situations like with Palu where she's just nearing your shield, if they do like a cross-up near something that land behind you, most characters actually have a relatively difficult time punishing it. Pyro Mythra says, I'm in the middle of this multi-hit, I'm just going to roll and you're going to eat this whole forward smash. Yeah. And I think having that on top of Pyro Mythra being as strong of a character as they are, even without it, it's just kind of, I look forward to seeing this character. Yeah. Like some way, shape, or form, I think this character is going to have relevancy.
I will say though that Mythra having a worse role in spot dodge, I think it's pretty annoying when I play her.
I mean Pyra.
No, Mythra.
Pyra? Like, it should just be. Wait, does Pyra have? I thought it was just Mythra that because of foresight, right?
Like I thought it was just Mythra as well.
That she has
pretty sure it's just Mythra.
A worse role, but I feel like the foresight makes it better. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I don't know because like a lot of times I'll try to roll or spot dodge, and you know how in this game you can get hit out of like the startup of your roll or spot dodge, like more so than any other Smash game. When you play Mythra, it's even worse. Like I'll just roll and I'll still get grabbed. Like I can see my roll come out, and I'm getting grabbed before my roll like actually comes out.
I think that's because foresight doesn't affect grabs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same with spot dodge. But then her roll is also just laggier. Like once the roll like goes through, she has more lag. I'm fairly certain.
I feel like it's like frame 5 or something on startup for a roll. I can't remember exactly, but it's like higher than average for sure.
I'm gonna look it up on Ultimate Frame data. Just to see.
Yeah. Just at least that's what it feels like when I play them, and I've played them for a good amount right now. And whenever I roll with Mythra, it just feels like people have a bigger window of punishing her. But I don't know if the trade-off is like the trade-off of having like foresight is probably better. It's just not as apparent right now because people are bad at using foresight. But I think over the course of the next few months, it's going to be like more apparent that it's a good trade-off for her. But right now, it's really fucking annoying. Like I'll spot dodge or roll and I'll still get grabbed.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Mythra does have more end lag on her.
I have more end lag too.
She has more end lag on her spot dodge roll and her spot dodge and rolls.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Something else I want to say just regarding Mythra is her completely invulnerable directional air dodge.
Wait, what? I didn't know.
Wait, what?
Like when she her like the ledge grab when she directional air dodges to grab the ledge, she can't get 2-framed if you do it right.
Wait, really?
Wait, you didn't know that? Yeah.
No, I didn't. Why would I know that? No, I didn't know that.
Because it's like there's like a lot of people talking about it. Yeah. If Mythra,
I must have missed it.
If Mythra does directional air dodge at like the right height, her ledge grab is completely invulnerable, so she can't get 2-framed.
Yeah. I wish Crom had that. I could just air dodge her at the edge every single time. So I'm assuming it's a specific angle, right? It's like probably like from above.
Yeah, I think the idea or what people are thinking is that because foresight is kind of like a teleport, people are thinking that they kind of programmed Mythra's directional air dodge to be a teleport.
I see.
Yes.
I
Okay,
didn't know
it
that.
works like the other actual teleports, like Mewtwo and Palutena. Whereas I don't know if it applies in Ultimate. I know it's in Smash 4, where like if you teleported from above stage height from the ledge, you would have complete invincibility when you grab the ledge.
Yeah, no, that's in Ultimate as well.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah. So it's like the same concept where if you grab the ledge at the right height, you'll be invulnerable completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Broken. But at the same time, if she gets like, because this happened to me as well. Like I'll trigger foresight while I'm air dodging towards the edge, and then she actually doesn't snap the edge. She'll just go past it and die.
Yeah, that's like one of the big issues.
That can happen as well.
Yeah.
Right.
That in general is like the big flaw of Myth or Pyra though. There's just their recovery.
Off
The
stage,
recovery is very
yeah.
exploitable.
Yeah.
Yep,
Do y'all
I
think
agree.
it's exploitable enough to like drag them out of the general consensus of like this character's top 10, this character maybe potentially be the best character in the game or something like that?
Honestly, it could be. I think their recovery just isn't that great.
Yeah, it's a huge flaw.
It's a huge flaw for sure. It's like sometimes I have an easier time with Crom recovering than I do with like Pithra. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see whether just her general game plan is gonna overshadow her bad recovery just because of the sheer amount of like good stuff she has going on for her, or if her recovery is gonna drag her down. We just need to see more offline data and like actual top players playing her as well, like Spargo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really. Oh, and Leo. I'm sure Leo's gonna use Myth or Pyra a lot as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen him play mostly Pyra actually. Every time I watch him play.
Really?
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like that's an online thing though.
That's true. Yeah.
I kind of do feel like too.
Pyra's definitely buffed online, and
Yeah.
Mithra's nerfed.
Yeah. Like considerably. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Side B.
Yep. Yeah. I think this is a good time to end it. Actually, I don't know how to close this. I don't know how to end this. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So I'll just.
You're new to this. It's
I-
okay. It's
yeah,
your
I'm-
first podcast.
Yeah.
I'm new to this. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope the guests enjoyed it. If you guys want to come
Oh
back,
yeah, of course. Thank you.
let me know.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's super fun to talk about the game. Yeah, if you want me back here, I'm more than happy to come back and share my opinions and thoughts about the game later on.
Yeah, same. I'm always down. Just hit me up on Twitter.